Welcome back, and let's talk about it. You see the boys on the screen, and let's go ahead and break it all down. The Florida Mutineers will face off against Paris Legion, and when it comes to Paris, aLLeY, I love what we saw yesterday, and I hope that they just keep killing it.
It felt like a totally different team than what we expected. I mean, John and Temp, the dominant slaying out of them, especially in this Gavutu, against a team like Atlanta FaZe was absolutely mind-blowing. Not to mention, when it came to search and destroy, they really rode on the back of Dashy's first bloods. If he got a first blood, man, the round was basically guaranteed in the hands of Paris Legion. They did end up losing to Atlanta FaZe, but man, nameless, did they keep it close.
Yeah, they kept it pretty close. And, you know, I like what you said about Dashy. He does have to be the guy to go out there and get those first bloods. There were a couple situations where he got it and they weren't able to capitalize on the round. But this is the guy that I was looking at all throughout the series yesterday. John was piecing, dude, especially in that hard point. He was pulling up. He got 2 kills with his streak, but it was on his team. But right after that, he bounced back on rotation with a huge 2-piece to secure them that win. And then moving into the control as well, the guy was running an SMG on Gavutu, just popping off. And that's what you need out of John. You need the guy who can go out there, do the dirty work, but also pick up the kills on rotation, the route man, if you will. So I liked what I saw out of John. He needs to bring it into today.
I hope John keeps popping off today, man. But nameless, when it comes to the game field keys to victory, what does this squad have to do to pull out a big W?
Yeah, the game field keys to victory for Paris Legion. They're going to have to take advantage of a weak Florida. And when it comes to hard point setups, Florida is 12th in hold percentage, Paris 12th in break percentage. So sort of a battle of titans here when it comes to crappiness and hard point, but they're going to have to come together and do that. And then swing game 3 in your favor. Paris second in control round win percentage. Florida is 11th. And then they need to focus on getting into post-plant situations. Me and aLLeY just touched on that. 25% bomb plant percentage. They have to get that bomb down in order to win the round.
Right, and speaking about the Paris roster, let's take a look at them. These guys showed up in a big way yesterday, almost getting a big W. And speaking of which, John, Decimate, we got Fellow, and also my guy, Temp. These guys can bring it at any given moment, but Temp going crazy behind John as well is something that I definitely want to see. Those two just seemed unstoppable, and hopefully they can try to get something big today that they couldn't get yesterday. But nameless, let's talk about Florida as well. Florida Mutineers. Yeah. There's a lot I want to see from this team. You know what? I like them. They show a lot of potential, and I think that they could cause some havoc in this matchup.
Yeah, if I were to make updated power rankings, they'd be sitting in 12th place right now, without question. Looking at this roster, I just think they make a lot of mistakes. I knew that there would be, it was questionable for them to have this many AR players. When we saw Skies in that first bow cage at the first event at kickoff, we thought he was going to be solid in that, but yesterday's performance, he had a .53 overall in the series, so still it's up in the air whether he can be an SMG star. I don't know, man. I have a lot of questions. I need to see more out of this Florida team.
And aLLeY, when it comes to game field keys to victory, Nameless said it, you heard it in his voice and his tone. When it comes to trying to win this game, what do the Florida Mutineers have to do?
Well, man, they got to figure out defensive issues to be an elite S&D team. They're winning 38% of defensive rounds, which is 8th out of our 12 teams versus 73% offense, which they're first in, actually. And that's a pretty impressive stat for their performance yesterday. And they need to win more opening engagements in S&D, winning 29% of first blood engagements, which is 11th overall, and 86% win rate when they do find the first blood. So if they get that first blood, they're almost guaranteed to win the round. So maybe play a little bit more aggressive, push Vivid up into a little ratty spot and catch a player off guard. And Vivid, like I said, he has to step it up. 0.83 KD in last. And you know what? I feel like Skies also has to step it up as well. I believe he was following fairly close behind, and maybe they just had a bad day yesterday. You know, we can't chalk them up after one series, but they really have to step it up today.
Yeah, when it came to the game field keys victory, I mean, the stats said it. If they're able to get that opening kill, this team, they take advantage of every situation that they're absolutely in. But it's time for some fun, and it's time to put my analyst on the hot seat. When it comes to predictions, Nameless, my man, starting with you, it's going to be Paris or Florida?
I'm going Paris all the way. I'm going Paris 3-2. I think they're going to take it into a game 5. They fix their S&D mistakes from yesterday when they played against FaZe. Come in today hot, strong, confident, and ready to go.
aLLeY, you rock with the team that's hailing from Europe, or are you going with the boys from Florida?
I love Paris. I really do, and I hope they prove me wrong, but I'm going to go with Florida this time. They just haven't proved to me just yet that they deserve to be in the 12th spot, Nameless. So I'm going to go Florida.
All right, I'm going to have to give it to Paris, because with Florida, we're going to have to see more if they're going to want my type of confidence in predicting them to win. But you know what? Lando and Steady, I can't wait to hear your beautiful voices on the mic. Fellas, how you doing today? And feel free to take it away.
I appreciate that, Val. We're doing great, my man. We're doing fantastic. Jay, what, man? It feels like every time we cast, we got a game 5. So that's really what my prediction comes down to. It's going to a game 5. That's it.
I think between both of these teams, this is going to be an absolute battle. On the side of Paris, obviously, they pushed Atlanta FaZe all the way to a Game 5 by winning 2 respawns. Versus Atlanta, you usually don't see that happen. And on the opposite side versus Florida, when they went up against London, they just got absolutely smoked. Like, it wasn't even close. So I'm not looking at one player. I'm looking at the entire team to step up today and make a statement.
Right now, when it comes to upcoming maps and modes, I want to hear your thoughts about who kind of won this battle right here. The first map will be on Bacaj Hardpoint. Why not, right? We're going to get a lot of fast and heavy action. After that, Tuscan Search and Destroy, Kavutu and Control, Tuscan Hardpoint, and Bacaj Search and Destroy if need be. You know, Standy, I want to hear your thoughts right now. Who do you think has the upper hand here with the maps that we see?
I think Paris definitely won the vetoes here, and they were also Team A. So they automatically were just putting Kavutu Control right at that Game 3. That's been their bread and butter. They were able to beat LA Thieves. They were able to beat Atlanta FaZe there. So they should have that control on lock. But you see right off the rip, when they came out, Paris Legion, they were like, we're not going to play Berlin. We're not going to try to hit the rotations because we're still a fairly new team. They like to only play Tuscan and Kavutu. But if you're Florida, you're going to take Kavutu out. You're going to try to play that bow cage right off the rip. So that one's going to be new. And then Tuscan Search and Destroy is basically going to tell me how this exact series is going to go. Because on one side, Florida, they like that map. On the opposite side, for Paris, they have yet to play it. So this is going to be a great series between both of these teams. If Florida doesn't show up, at least early into this map number 1, I feel like Paris is going to be able to walk away with this one.
Lando, I'm going to be happy to ask you this question because you always find a way to say something nice about these teams, right? No matter what. Paris had a big game yesterday where they looked really good, right? But Florida, a lot of people might be writing them off if their name isn't aLLeY, of course, right? She's showing some love to them. Do you think Florida has what it takes? And if so, what's going to be the biggest factor? It could be a play style or just a player that really needs to step up.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Vel. I like to, be more positive when it comes down to the CDL broadcast.
I trash them all, man. Go ahead.
I'll be honest. Paris was absolutely piecing up the Atlanta FaZe yesterday. Yep. But on the other side of things, for the Florida Mutineers, I think there's a chance. I really do. It's not an easy sell by any means. But to me, the one player that I'm looking out for has got to be Vivid. I think if he steps up, he's got the lowest KD right now in the entirety of the CDL. I don't expect for that trend to continue. I think if he improves, we see a more collective effort from the roster. Okay. I think they're in a better spot, but it's not an easy sell, Veli, considering they got outslayed by 60 kills yesterday. All
right, fellas, the game is starting. Hopefully we get a map 5 again. Land it with Steady, have some fun, give it your curse, and go ahead and take it away.
I appreciate that, Vel, and oh boy, Jay, like you said, man, it just feels like we got Game 5s in our blood, but more specifically, we got Bocage again. This is like the 9th time we've gotten this.
Every single time we start a series, it's always going to be on Bocage, so the energy is just going to be flowing. I'm already starting to sweat as soon as we jump into this map.
I tell you what, man. Hey, you've had a good reason for sweating, especially yesterday. We were on for like 6 or 7 hours. It was wild, but hey, we're back. We're in it. We're ready to go. The cage is lit, and we're about to find out who can grab the advantage to start off in this series, as it is all-out chaos inside of Bottom Grandma's.
And so far, this has been great work from Florida. They are continuously holding these spawns for P2, and they were able to at least get 12 seconds off of this P1 hardpoint. It's all about just making sure you don't die off this rotation. John is going to be that impactful player on the side of Paris Legion trying to flip these spawns as they're finding every single kill in towards bottom barn. That's going to eventually spawn all of Florida out towards back tank, and this is the worst case scenario for Florida to start.
Yeah, and I mean, shout out to our stats team. They've been talking about Bocage specifically. I feel like all of us as a broadcast team, the observers, the talent, the production team, we're all just trying to figure out exactly how to summarize that like Bocage, but they have said P2 seems to be the money hill right now. So as you call it, my friend, John makes the play, sets the team up for spawns, but it is the Mutineers playing pretty well toward the front side. Decimate looking to cause some problems here toward those tanks. Vivid walking away with a few of those seconds. Again, a player that we absolutely have to look out for, and right now he sits on a 3 spree.
And this is good work out of him. I didn't really have a good series yesterday. Like Nimbus said, 0.6. You need this guy to step up and be a superstar if you want this team to succeed. But so far, 20 seconds left on this P2 hardpoint. They're continuously just spawning all of Paris Legion back stables. And this is where it can get out of hand because so much pressure towards the middle of the map. They are keeping those rotations in their back pocket. As you see, number 7, which is Dave Patty, already there.
Yeah, this is wild. I mean, how often do we see a play like that? The team has spawns for P2, and Florida never really allowed for them to even break out of their base. Vivid, in the midst of a 6 spree, finds one on the temp, and now he's got the glide bomb to work with. Double double streaks for the man who we said has got to step up for the Mutineers, and he has done exactly that. 60-12, the Mutineers only continue to roll, and now it's Sky's turn. Fellow's missing some shots. He finally gets taken down, but how about these Mutineers?
And this has been a great start because we watched them play this yesterday versus London. It wasn't even close. I mean, in the previous day versus London. But then now, you look at Skies, look at Vivid. Those guys are really stepping up. They were at 0.5s and 0.6s. So far, they're double positive into this game, really leading the pack for this Florida squad.
That's great to see. Again, we talked about a number of different players to look out for. And what, man, I know Nameless mentioned it on the desk because Temp now sits on 4 in a row. We're talking about, Sky specifically. His performance at the Kickoff Classic on this very map, Jay, 45 and 31, does not have a great performance. Really, nobody did versus the Ravens. But oftentimes it seems that the Mutineers go with the way that Skies plays.
100%, you have to. He's like your MVP flex player. He can do it all. So when he's frying, you're going to be flying. And right now with him sitting at 13 and 8, up 20 points are going to be Florida. They do have the spawns for this P4 hard point. You see all of Paris trying to attack through the middle of the map. They're eventually able to get that spawn towards lower trenches side. So now the pinch is going to be able to come from the back and through the middle of the map.
It's great to see, too. Little plays like that. They're just in the middle of you going off. I mean, it was Legion at the same time, right? Trying to flip those spawns here at Barn. You see John, you see Fellow, not just in, valuing the engagements, but playing for that spawn control. Just goes to show what this veteran team really looks to do on a map like this. It's going to be hard to handle, but they are always going to try and have those spawns in their favor as they look to try and even the score down by 20 seconds. But considering how these final 10 go, we'll see exactly how the score looks to try and change on up as the Mutineers look to grab the scrap, and it's going to be a battle now toward P5.
And they win a couple rotation gunfights. It's still going to be Paris Legion coming out on top. So now they're going to be set up for this P5. Just don't want to allow Vivid to try to make a play. He finds 3 in the feed. Now it's all about putting the pressure on because the back spawn is still going to be there. Makes it 4 eventually before he gets taken down, but they have the crossfire set up. Mutineers are still getting a good chunk of time, even without having the spawns.
Yeah, and also without Dave Patty having a great game to start off our first set of rotations, right? 8 and 14, but we talk about Vivid, we talk about Skies, 2 guys who got outslayed and then some versus the Ravens are turning up right now as Skies nearly turns on to 3, but I think if you're a Mutineers fan, despite not getting that kill, Jay, you got to think the Mutineers are firing a lot better than they did yesterday. Here comes Vivid with the streak as they look to at least try and hold off the Legion from accruing some of this remaining time. Final 10 seconds. But as it comes to a close, it is Florida out of the gates hot.
Yeah, you can just tell Florida, they came ready to play today. They said, hey, we're not having a slow start once again, because then that eventually leads to a chain effect. We potentially get 3-0'd. It's all about starting off on the right foot for this Florida roster, and up 35 points off the first rotation of hard points, exactly how you want to do so. As Decimate trying to do everything he can through this little shack. Not able to pick up that kill, but still, time going back and forth, trades going back and forth, always around this P1 hardpoint.
Yeah, they definitely are. And when you're looking at Legion, given how they looked at the first set of rotations, we want to see a few players start to step it up. But the one guy who had an amazing series yesterday is the man that we've got on the screen. Temp put up some unbelievable numbers in that Game 5 versus the Atlanta FaZe. Now sits on 6 in a row himself. But Jay, he had like a 1.3 KD yesterday versus Atlanta.
Yeah, he had a 1.3, and I'm pretty sure he was still at like 80% non-traded kills, so no one can get a trade on Donnie Temp. He was out there just doing whatever he wanted, just being super confident in all of his gunfights. Unfortunately, didn't walk away with the dub, but that's one hell of a way to make a statement for this young man.
Yeah, great stuff. Like you said, coming in from young Kyrie, and you know what? The team colors kind of match the old Cavs, right? You got the wine colors in there, Legion. I see.
I guess.
I see. I don't know. I'm stretching a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. John, he's getting expendable right now. I mean, 12 and 19 does. Mutineers, last time they did it the hard way, right? They don't have the preferred spawns, but they're able to push them on out. Right as I say that, though, fellow, spawns right toward the backside of 10, making things problematic as Legion getting some much-needed time. And really, once this hill comes to a close, we could have ourselves a tie game coming into P3.
Yeah, that was unfortunate from Florida right there. They were too aggressive towards top plat, which eventually allowed a couple Paris Legion players to spawn out towards back stables, which basically gives them a free break. They're able to get those remaining 25 seconds to get right back into this game, potentially tie it up. And now you have players off the rotation. Temp And a huge one-on-one versus Skies. Decimate is going to save his life, and now the spawns do flip for Paris Legion. They should be able to take the lead here.
Yeah, that's a great moment right there for Paris. The coordination, the teamwork is on point, and Dave decides to rush on in, pulling out the pistol, grabs it right from his utility belt, makes it look quite nicely. Decimate now put in a position of which he's going to have to go big. He gets punched in the back once more by Dave Patty, not having the greatest of games, but making some influential kills happen toward the bottom side of Grandma's. And right now, it is a contest fest. It is a battle and then some. Make it 4, nearly 5. FMJ not on the weapon, but it doesn't matter. Dave Patty can do it all. He's got the MP40 rocking quite nicely, and say goodbye to Temp. Everybody's going on sprees.
And with 20 seconds left, this is great for Dave Patty because he wasn't having such a great start. The potential to pick up that glide bomb, unfortunately, Decimate is going to be able to take him down. That has been great work from Florida. They flipped the spawns on themselves, but were still able to hold a good 20 to 35 seconds on this P3 hardpoint. Now you just got to think about the rotation because Paris going to be here early, but when Vivid is shooting like this, it's going to be pretty hard to slow the man down.
Yeah, as we said, the guy that you have to call on right now, the lowest KD in the CDL, and I give it, I'll tell you this, after this Bocage, that's not gonna be the case. Okay, Reese. Now 5 in a row. He's feeling himself. He just went in and called out the streak. Not a problem. Gonna cause some issues for Legion off spawn. And how about the plays from Vivid? The Mutineers inching ever closer to that 200-point mark, and that would mean big things on a map like Bocage, as now he'll extend the streak to 7. My word, as Miles loves to say, Mutineers feeding off the hype, off the momentum that a player like Vivid will provide you with. Dave, he gets picked apart as well, but Florida looking like a totally different team, whether it's the reactions, whether it's just the kills that are going down. It appears that a map like Bocage, as odd as it sounds, may fit their play style quite nicely.
Yeah, these guys woke up today and shot 1,000 bots right off the rip. They said there's no way in hell we're starting off slow. Vivid 34 and 24, Skies 30 and 25. These are two guys that really didn't have the best series 2 days ago, but really stepping up for this Florida roster to try to get this first one on this map, number 1. But off the rotation, see Paris Legion, they're going to be set up nice and early for this P5. Vivid is going to be able to use that strike run to take down Felony. This could be the pressure for Florida to try to break in.
And this could be the player as well that we need to see make the play. Decimate just gets caught down from the gate. Now the call will come in toward Temp. Vivid, of course it's Vivid, right, to take them on down. Paris still with the preferred spawns, but it can get quite mixy toward the backside of Grandma's, and John's going to learn exactly why that's the case. Vivid, he is flying. Decimate's there to cut him down regardless of it. Dave, really the only bit of cover that you got on this particular hill. He'll use it to his best ability before getting taken down by the nade. And it's John thinking about the future, thinking about spawns already. Keep in mind, top side of your map, player number 2, going to do everything he can as the Mutineers accrue the final few seconds to scrap. And they've got themselves a 50-point advantage now as we enter our third set of rotations.
And John does find 2 on the left side, which should allow his teammates to eventually push up towards that A plat. But you have to play for time here if you're Paris Legion. You cannot allow this to just go uncontested or just free time to both teams, because that clock is starting to come into play. Only 1 minute left in this game. You see trades going back and forth. John gonna be able to find one. But 40 seconds left still. We just have to put ourselves in a position to get this time. You cannot let this game come down to the clock.
Oh, and you can tell, John, he was just thinking about so many things, hearing some call-outs, checks the wrong corner, and from there, the Mutineers, as we said, not that interested in wanting to get in the hill. They'll be happy if this one goes to time. And that just makes it much more difficult on the Legion because they've got more than just one enemy to face off against. It's not just Florida, but it's also going to be those seconds. Only 35 left on the clock as it will continue to go on and off. Paris Legion continue to get picked apart inside of the middle of the map. Temp trying to make some plays, going to hold it through that contest spot. And as it will come to a close, it's Mutineers prepared and ready off of this next rotation. They parked the bus, as we like to call it, here toward this backside of barn. And they're ready for these first few engagements as Decimate gets traded.
Yeah, Paris Legion, they have one good attempt at trying to break this. You need to flip these spawns, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So now you just have to eliminate Dave Patty off this position. As you see, a couple Florida players are still being able to pick up kills all around this barn area. 235 to 180.
Oh!
As Dave Patty finds another 2. 10 seconds away from closing out this game number 1.
It looks good. It looks good to do so. Vivid looking for his 45th kill of the game. Can he break his good old buddy Sky's record? As Scotch was able to do that in the kickoff classic, will we say hi to 46? We very well could. Legion stopped the clock at 23 and some change. Vivid unfortunately gets dropped, but it's the streak that at least makes Legion feel that much more uncomfortable. 10 more seconds, the skies goes away. Now it's time for Awakening. Nearly gets challenged, a team nade comes through. That's not the way to get kills, Vivid. Can't do it that way. Legion off of spawn are gonna have the preferred side as somehow, some way, they have managed to get spawns for next. As Temp tosses out the dead nade, Skies able to make quick work of him. Now it's up to John to try to make the play on the flank, but Skies takes him down as well. Vivid in the meantime finds his 46th kill, and 3 seconds are only left for the Mutineers, and they will grab the win. A mixy game on the cage, but the Mutineers come out on top. And that man in the bottom left of your screen is a primary reason for it. Vivid goes for 46 kills.
And that's gotta feel great if you're Florida, to come out hot like that off the gates, especially for Vivid. Having a 0.6 yesterday, dropping 46 the day after in your very first map to go up 1-0 versus Paris Legion, who've been looking great. This has been a great answer from Florida early into this series. Tremendous step up. What they were able to do so well in this hardpoint was just basically Paris Legion, they had a majority of the spawns. The thing that it came down to the most was that Florida, they were able to time their breaks every single time beautifully. Vivid was popping 2 pieces off the rotation, and Skies was also right there following up, getting the trades at the right time. They were just not worried about the rotation. They said, hey, we're shooting like this, we can break from the front, we're gonna be able to get a majority of this time, and they eventually walked away with map number 1.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this a lot, right? The Mutineers, whenever they faced off against the Ravens, a lot of long-range maps, Gavutus, etc., things like that, Desert Siege, or maps of that caliber, right? And I don't know what it is. It's like we expected this team coming into the game to struggle on the Bokages and dominate on the Gavutus, but it seems to be the exact opposite. Jay, from your perspective, what makes the Mutineers such a lethal team on this map when, like I said, given the roles, it doesn't look like it should be that way?
I think it's because you allow your SMG players to just be the superstars. When you're playing smaller maps, this is where they can really take over. They know the spawns, they know the timings, they know exactly when they need to be pushing out the right cuts. And compared to a Gavutu map where you can get bit in the behind if you're not rotating, and that's what happened to them versus the Ravens. Ravens just completely outslaying them the entire time. It even caught OpTic off guard yesterday when they were playing the Ravens, because they just have such a tremendous slaying power. So if Florida were not able to match that, as well as not rotating at hard points, eventually leads to a bad recipe.
Love to hear it, my friend. Like I said, really feels like Bocage is just a flex of your gun skill, and we know the Mutineers have got quite a bit of that, as we said. But we've already seen Skies drop 45 kills on Bocage. Vivid tops him by 1, goes for 46 in our first map of what is going to be an electric series, especially if it's anything like the good old cage to start. But now, we've got to focus our attention toward this Tuscan Search and Destroy, and I don't know, Jay, it's an interesting one, right? We talked about Paris, how great they looked versus Atlanta, and a lot of people would say, oh, it's got to be through the Search and Destroys, right? Not at all the case. It was actually Respawn.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense to me because this team, when you look at this roster, they have great Search and Destroy players. Like Felony, I was a former teammate of his. He's always been a great Search and Destroy player. His nickname used to be Mr. Mid-Map. He should just run around the middle of the map, get a 2-piece whenever he wanted. And Decimate as well, this is a guy who, we saw him last year. He subbed in for NYSL and was able to take over in a Search and Destroy to win him that series. Like, these guys have the players that they want for their team. When it comes to this game mode, it just comes down to the chemistry and the playmaking, because yesterday we saw a lot of individual plays that eventually causes them. When you start with a man disadvantage, you have to make sure you recuperate and execute the game plan.
Yeah, and that's a great call. So it's not just been, rather on the Paris Legion side, struggles in Search and Destroy, but also the same thing could be said for the Mutineers, at least in their last match. We know what they could do on Berlin Search and Destroy. There's no doubt about that, right? But in regards to the way that they played the London Royal Ravens on that Desert Siege, I mean, what did you think was really the biggest difference maker as we take a look at the numbers?
When they played against the Ravens on Desert Siege, Ravens, they just completely were opening up with every single first blood and then just winning a majority of those trades, using their man advantage to their advantage to close out a bunch of these rounds. And for Florida, they just started off so slow into the S&D. If you have such great S&G presence, you want to be aggressive early into these rounds so you do not allow the other team to set the tone. As you see here, they have 73 offensive percentage round wins, but when they're on defense, they're only winning 38%. That is horrific. When you're on the defensive side, you have to allow them to plant the bomb, make it blow up for 45 seconds, and that's the way you're going to lose it. But they're consistently losing those, so they're finding their wins on offense. You just have to find your wins on defenses. Once you get that first blood, you need to be able to capitalize it with a W.
It's a great call, right? I mean, Mutineers playing untypical search and destroy, despite having what at this moment is a positive record. But given the way that Tuscan plays, I don't know, right? Very offensive heavy. We're talking about plants, how well they can be once they plant them. I don't know. It just seems like maybe this map could be a match made in heaven for this Mutineers team, who, granted, isn't great at defense. Well, in Tuscan, it's sometimes difficult to be good on defense. So who knows? It could be great. It could be bad. All I know is I'm excited to see Vivid, a.k.a. Reese Drost, dominate some more. Again, 46 kills in the map one? Goodness sake.
Yeah, the guy's an absolute monster. And now you have to continue that momentum going into this map number 2. So if I'm Florida, it's all about taking mid-map control. You want to make sure, at least on your offensive attacks, you start off with that initial push. Even on the defense, like right here, this is a beautiful round right here. Look at this play. They're just hitting right through this A-bomb, and this should catch Paris completely off guard.
It appears that John not at all interested in those fights. He just saw 3 Mutineer players just run through field. He's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and try this one out a little bit different. Early engagements, no surprise there, are going to come through Vivid, as John does have out the big boy. So, like I said, he definitely saw those players coming through from field with that car, as he'll look to reference on back. And the Legion maybe changing up the strategies here. They'll go ahead and rotate the bomb now over at B, and Owakening could be the worst player to be here, but in fact, it's John pulling out the pistol.
Get some unfortunate timing right there for Owakening. So now it's going to be a 3v4. See that Florida, they're trying to set up on this pinch. One player working a deep flank, one player in Vivid working his way through top fire. As Skies is able to find one, make it a 3v3.
Guy's able to drop the first, so like you said, even now at a 3 versus 3. We'll see exactly how Vivid looks to attack this. Get some great shots there on the fellow. And now John, feeling the pressure, has to go for this player inside of P5. And great shots coming through from John. He pulls out the automaton and might have to do all the work himself. Final player is going to be on to Temp. 15 seconds left. Can he hold off this defuse? Put some good shots into the first, and now he'll make Dave have to go for the challenge, and it will be Temp once more. A 1v2, had the time, and he'll use it well.
And that's just a great round from Paris Legion right there. They tried to, at least, they slow and steady work that round right there. They were saying, hey, everybody spread map. Let's see what they're going to come out with. They saw 4 people push straight through that A-bomb. They immediately hit the rotation straight to B, caught Owakening off guard, and immediately worked that bomb plant. That was great work from Paris Legion to take the round to them and open up with that first win.
And it felt a little odd, too, right, from the Mutineers side, because they had full mid-map control, maybe just a late call-out, something like that to read. But was more of an on push toward that B side, especially in round number 1. But again, we'll continue to talk about the Mutineers in those defensive rounds, as that will continue to be the conversation. Struggling here off the rip, but now they'll give it their best go in the attacking side, as Dave gives Fellow a nice new cut, put it lightly. Not sure if he can return that, as John once more being an issue inside of P5, as he'll level it now at 3-3.
And Tempe is at least able to spot Dave Patty towards lower fountain side. John's going to commit towards the gunfight. Now it's going to make it a 3v2. That one player in number 8, an Owakening, he's the safety net. He's the guy that can spot the bomb from the middle of the map.
Guys, a great early pick, but Temp's there for the trade. Now it'll all be on to Big Wake. 15 seconds. A similar situation to what we saw Temp be in last round, but Temp watching over for his teammate, and it's a identical round to what we saw in the first one. Temp makes the clutch in round 1, but this time it's Big Wake. 1v2, plays the time, and we've got ourselves a 1-1 score.
And that was a great round from Florida. Right off the rip, I'm pretty sure they showed a lot of middle presence, so they slowed down the players from the Paris Legion. And then eventually, Paris Legion, they're thinking, hey, this guy has to go for the instant plant. They waste 2 nades. That's their first line of defense. Once you don't get a kill there, it's basically impossible to tell when that guy's going to be planting that bomb. They open up with the first blood, and then they play the man advantage. Owakening puts himself in a great spot to clutch up the round.
John's got the big boy out. We'll see what he can do with it. Meanwhile, the utility tossed throughout the good old Italian streets of Tuscan. Skies as well looking for the angle, watching for what could be the late flank, but that bomb is going to go down unscathed. Now a player falls, and oh, Vivid, right as he looks to challenge, he gets picked apart. Double headshots off the rip here for the Legion. As Dave, aware of the pressure that could come, is at least able to even the score, and Owakening will also. TJHaly now left in a position to clutch, and he's got the sniper now too, and he'll make him work for it. Now into a 1 versus 1. Fellow versus TJHaly. Longtime teammates and challengers, but Fellow is able to take it. A 1v1, and now Legion go up 2-1.
Yeah, right there. That was all on Legion, just slow and steady working towards that A bomb. They did not just overextend towards the middle of the map. They were slowly and steady, just trying to get that bomb down. And then once Temp found that opening kill, they eventually got the second. And it almost got scary there because it turns to a 2v2. But like you said, Fellow, he knows TJHaly, his former teammates. You know his tendencies. Checks the bomb in the perfect time to win the round.
Yeah, you don't like to say, father like son. I guarantee if he took off the glasses, there could be some relation there. You think between he and Fellow? Maybe?
Potentially.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the neck. I have no idea. Not exactly sure. And how about the nade off the start from Temp? Again, we talked about First Bloods. Mutineers having some struggles with those, but this time it's Temp who's able to secure it. Dave laying down some shots with the automaton, but with that map dropping, or rather with the bomb dropping, rather in the middle of the map, could make things quite precarious as Temp looks to check out radio and Skies will look to distance himself back inside a field.
So now this play is all going to come down to Vivid, but he's going to lose that gunfight to Temp. He was in such a great position to try to be the playmaker. Forces it to a 4v2, and Skies is going to turn the corner. Hello, everyone's there. And just like that, Paris Legion are able to win the round. Such a huge one-on-one between Temp and Vivid. Like, if he doesn't win that, turns into a 3v3, you give Vivid the chance to be the playmaker. But when Skies turns that corner, he sees 3. It's going to be immediately traded. And then Paris Legion just holding on the defense. That's good work out of Paris. We did not see this yesterday. It was all of a lot of individual plays. But so far, they're playing the search and destroy like a team.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And as we said, we expect this Legion team to be great at a mode like this, however long it takes. One of the oldest teams on average in the league. And with the players that they have, the talent that they have, search and destroy, it runs through their veins. But up 3-1 right now. Estimate surprisingly yet to get a kill despite the advantage that they possess. And Dave is going to keep that sniper. Is actually sitting inside of the middle of the map.
Yeah, this is a different type of confidence. Just rush right up the middle of the map with the sniper in your hand. They're going to be at least able to give some information that these players are approaching that A bomb. The Skies still, he doesn't want to over peek, doesn't want to get sniped. Paris Legion is trying to find the right moment to work this bomb plant.
Oh, and Skies again. First blood there on the Fellow, and John gotta be somewhat frustrated about it because that's the angle that he's supposed to hold.
Oh.
Skies will make him pay for both of them. The 2-for-1 deal, but Skies not interested in getting taken down as he'll look to reference back. It's Vivid quickly on the flank. How about this setup from the Legion? Decimate gets dropped. A round that started off a little bit weird considering we saw a sniper in the middle of the map, but Skies makes the biggest of differences here. Finding, what, was that 3 in the round?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he found 3. He opens up with the first 2 and then closes out right there. That was just beautiful work from Skies. Like, we knew that the pressure was going to come in towards that A bomb. Paris Legion, they were taking their time on planning that bomb. Once Skies opens up with that first blood, on the side of Paris Legion, you're trying to play for that trade. But once he finds the second, now in the 4v2, Florida, they do the exact same thing. They have 3 players run around the entire opposite side of the map, and they just play the trades. Beautiful round for Florida.
The problem for Legion fans, the Skies is still going to be here. Dave, meanwhile, with the sniper, able to drop Temp for the first blood. The Mutineers will at least be able to accrue that. And it looks like they will get the plant down. That nade's going to come in right as Awakening punches in the final digit. But he's able to escape with this life. Nice shots from Fellow. As the final bullet connects with Dave once more. A continuous 1v1 that we'll have to look out for. John gets picked apart inside of mid. We say goodnight to Fellow, and it's all on to Desi. All on to Decimate. Now's the time to fire that weapon. A 1-4 start. Now make it 1-5. Mutineers, another one secured.
And that's 2 back-to-back. Florida just taking their time once again. After they open up with the first blood, that's when eventually they decided to work that A-bomb plant. And so far, it's been working in their favor. As TJHaly, he opens up with that first kill. They have the man advantage. They're just playing the trades to close out these rounds. Now we're tied up at 3 apiece. Florida going back on the defense. If I'm Paris Legion, the very first round, that B push definitely caught them off guard.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go slow and steady towards A, you got to get them to utilize their nades.
Looks like they'll still go for the A attack, at least off the start. We have, like you said, seen them rotate effectively. Hello is able to drop Vivid kick off this round 7. Is Legion all together? Keep in mind, player 2 could cause problems, and it will be John. Up close and in your face. A great kill as Dave, once more, continuing to be problematic with the car. Shuts down Temp, and now it's all going to be on to the 2v3 retake.
And John in a great position to watch this late flank as DavePatty is going to peek the door. John's going to be able to find that easy kill now, an Awakening in a 1v3 situation. Basically an impossible task to get done as they have the crossfire sets up. Finds the first kill onto John, but it's going to be immediately traded. That's a great round from Paris Legion. They open up at that first blood with a nade, and then they work the bomb plant. At that point, it's just you put yourself in a decision-making mode if you're Florida. Hey, do we decide to just straight on push through, try to stop that bomb plant, or play for the retake? They decided to play for the retake. One player drops, turns it into a 4v2. It's going to be a difficult task to get done because the way Paris was set up right there, they had every single cut watched. Yeah, and a lot of that, like you said, was because of some great plays from John as well. I mean, we could talk about this guy a lot, but what he was able to do yesterday versus Atlanta was nothing short of spectacular. He and Temp putting up some great performances. We hope to only see that continue throughout the remainder here of Major 1 and also throughout the season. Vivid thought it could maybe ruin him that timing, but is at least able to trade for the start. Known as one of the faster players in Search and Destroy and showing us exactly why that's the case, but John maybe trying to take the title from him. Continues to be a menace inside of the church as Skies and Dave. Mutineers again. A man down as Dave looks to apply some shots toward the field as we say goodbye to Skies. And now it's up to the Røkkr in a 1v2 clutch versus some of the more veteran players in the game. A big round here for Florida, and we'll see what Dave has got. So now if you're Paris Legion, you just want to play the buddy system. You do not want to allow these one-on-one gunfights. So even if it comes down to it, you will give up this A-bomb plant. As bomb is still going to be down, 25 seconds left. Dave is going to be able to pick it up. One player is just watching flank, one player is watching the A-cross. That's eventually going to give the information to the teammates. Now the double chow is going to come in from mid, and just like that, Paris Legion, this is textbook. This is beautiful search and destroy. Buddy system up when you have the man advantage. You should, majority of the time, close out that round as they once again were able to open up with another first blood, which eventually leads to them closing out the round up 5-3, 1 away from tying the series up. And it's fun, Jay, right? I mean, it feels like this Paris Legion team is just like a classic COD roster. I mean, just the way that they play certain angles. We talk about how, you know, they were playing on Bocage, you know, always favoring the spawns, not trying to necessarily go for the up in your face type of gunfights. They can do that, but playing for spawns and search and destroys, playing the numbers, just the classic way that you love to see COD be played. Now, a lot of the vets are shaking their head like, yes, that's the play to make. Good stuff coming in from Legion is now they have got a chance to take a search and destroy, which would be their first here in Vanguard. John getting all kinds of comfortable inside a church. He escapes with his life. I don't know how in the world that works out, but Fellow is at least able to find his 5th kill in a row. It will be a 2-for-1 trade, working out in the favor of the Mutineers as it all be on to Dashy. A 1v3 for the game. He does have bomb. So if you can look at least one of these players. Takes down DavePatty. Too bad the trade is potentially going to be here, but Awakening, he's trying to get out of play. He's going to give up his life for free, and it turns it into a 1v1. 35 seconds left. Decimate has a freebie bomb plan if he takes it. But will he? Guys checking to the middle side. Could see a field engagement happen, but only 20 seconds left. He's got to make a choice, and Skies, of course it's Skies inside of the field, where he has found 80% of his kills so far throughout this search and destroy. Saves the round, saves the game for Mutineers. The near 1v clutch from Decimate, not meant to be. Yeah, Florida right there on the defense has said, hey, we've been giving up this A-bomb way too many times. They decide to just be super aggressive on the right side, take control of that side of the map, and then eventually opened up with that first blood. It almost got kind of scary, though. If you're Awakening in that situation, you shoot, you got to commit to the gunfight, especially if your teammate is all the way across the map. It's either you win or you lose it, but once you shoot and give it position, you can't give up your life for free like that. All right. Here we go, into the round 10. Utility tossed either which way. A lot of players positioned inside a church. DavePatty seems to be a rare miss snipe. At least distance the Legion off for now, but they are aware that
That bomb is going to be going down soon. Somehow, some way, Owakening escapes with 26 HP. Dave once more, 0 for 2 in snipes to kick off this round. And that will allow for Paris to get all kinds of map control.
You see Paris starting to attack to the middle of the alley, but Skies is watching. TJHaly's back, so they get the first blood. TJHaly, unfortunately, is going to miss that shot. Desi finds the third. Trades going back and forth through the middle of the map. 20 seconds left, and the 3v2 are going to be Paris.
Still 15 seconds to work with. Owakening, bad timing, and there's Decimate's chance. Can he do it? Again, another situation to clutch. Despite the missed snipes, Dave is still alive. And with 5 seconds, Decimate is not going to have time for a defuse. Kills are nice. Dave says, yeah, I'll go for free. We'll be happy to try to take that offense here in round 11. And boy, oh boy, I have no idea how we got to overtime, but we're here, Jay.
So right there, it just comes down to a situation where Paris Legion, you have your nades in top church. It all depends on when you want to throw it. It just got really bad timing. Once Owakening gets away from that bomb plant, I would like to see him go towards their spawn instead of wrapping back, because you probably could have threw your life away when he was done planting that bomb, but he gets away with his life. And then eventually, just great team setup coming in from Florida to watch TJHaly's flank as he was sitting top fire. Now we're going into a round 11, Florida on the offense.
See what they've got cooked up. Only player really out of the fight right now is going to be Vivid. Another first blood as Dave takes the head off of Temp. And somewhat frustratingly, Donnie Temp will have to sit and watch his teammates look to clutch the 3 versus 4.
Paris able to get through the middle of the map.
And John.
Vivid.
Oh.
He's going to walk right on by. They're eventually going to start to work this bomb plant. But do they know the positioning of John? John's going to be able to come behind one of these players for free. Potentially get that kill, even up the numbers, make it a 3v3 now.
How about the plays from John? Meanwhile, Decimate gets taken down there from Vivid. Man disadvantage for the Legion. Oh my goodness. Johnny takes down Vivid. A 2 versus 2, 25 seconds left. That does not get more intense than this, for God's sake. As the Mutineers will make the rotation toward B, and they should be successful in getting this bomb down. But Fellow, he's going to be oh so close. Fellow's oh so close. He takes down Owakening. It's a 1v1 again. John versus Skies. John aware of the position, and he knows that he's going to have to challenge quite soon. They run past each other again, but John may have the best of timing. Skies trying to escape. Run, Skies. Run, for God's sake. You can win the round, but John will secure it. John clutches out the 1v1 and will give Paris the OT victory. Their first search and destroy win here in Vanguard. And my word, it came down to the littlest of details. A sigh of relief from Temp as the Legion tie up the series at 1.
Yeah, that was not clean. But when you have an MVP caliber player on your roster, 5-5 round 11, you're going to put all the trust into him. He was able to work his way through the deep flank, get past Vivid, and now in a 4v3 disadvantage, you saw Florida. They had full bomb at A. They had all of A control. But once John finds that kill onto TJHaly in the back, now you have to be cautious. Like, hey, we can get shot from middle. We can get shot from their spawn. We can now get shot from our spawn. There's a whole lot of things that they had to watch. But John, being the playmaker, winning such huge gunfights, round after round. In that final round, he picks up 3 kills to solidify the game. Tie the series up at 1 apiece. Oh, man. What a start to the day. I'm telling you, we're probably getting another game 5, man. This is insane.
I was going to say, if the Mutineers take this, I get a little bit worried, but oh my word.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. Let's go and take a look at our game field tactical play. I mean, Jay, walk me through this, a 1v1. John's able to take it. Timing, this was absurd.
He spots him. He spots him right here when he auto-mantles. He has to unfortunately drop down. So now if you're Skies, you know that he knows who you are. It's all about playing your life. But in this situation, Skies is probably thinking he knows my position. He already put down a couple shots. He's probably gonna go instantly for the defuse. But John, the MVP caliber world champion that he is, he knows the situation. He plays for the kill, eventually gets the defuse to tie the series up 1 apiece, man. Unbelievable.
You saw the player cam, just a little smirk there from John's face. He has no idea how many times he nearly got killed in that round 11.
Yeah.
Some unbelievable timing. But Paris somehow, some way will close out that round 11 here on Tuscan, and now we've got ourselves a 1-1 series. I mean, I tell you what, man, just incredible plays from John. I mean, you got to give this guy some props. He was absolutely dominant versus Atlanta FaZe, and the Tiny Tears. I'm good for it, Mr. Adam AP. I got you here. But still, man, you gotta be excited about this Legion team. But again, it gets a little bit dicey. And you said not the perfect search and destroy for this team, but if John's making plays like that, you gotta be excited as a Paris fan.
100%, and then especially now that you're going into a Gavutsu control next map, that has been their bread and butter. They were able to take down the Thieves at kickoff. They were able to beat Atlanta FaZe in it yesterday. You just have to get that same performance out of Temp and John, because Temp, like I said, 80% non-traded kills. Yeah. He was basically a god on the map. Wild. You need to try to shut him down if you're Florida. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of things to look at if you are the Florida Mutineers. Gavutsu control, it's been a great one previously for Paris. Can they rely on it again? As that will be our game 3 as we take a look through the highlights. We're going to throw it to a quick little commercial break. When we come back, it's time for Gavutsu.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Welcome back, folks, to CDL opening weekend. It is day number 3 in our first match of the day. What a match. It has been a wild series so far, going down between the Florida Mutineers, the Paris Legion, as both teams are looking for their very first win of the official season. Myself and Standy here to guide you guys along for the rest of this bad boy. And Jay, I got one question for you. Are you sweating? Are you sweating right now?
I did some different things today. Like I said, I was going to open my window, so that's currently open. And then I rubbed a lot of baby powder all over myself. So we should be straight today. We should be in a good position.
I just got some interesting visuals right there. All right. But heading into this game 3 control, I'm glad that you're doing well, by the way. Because we very well, by the way, folks, strap in. It just feels like it's going to go 5. I don't know. It's something with us. It's just something great. But it just feels like this is going 5. But the big problem, I guess you could say, for the Mutineers, Jay, is that they've not been looking all that great at Kavoot, or rather at control. They are 0-3. On the other side for Paris, they have yet to lose here on Kavoot 2 control.
Yeah, so they're going to be super competent if you're Paris Legion. But if you're Florida, you just got to completely just wipe away the loss that you took versus London, because they got outslayed tremendously. The only player over 1.0 KD was Owakening, but they're just based off that first hard point, Skies and Vivid are here to play. So here we go. Paris Legion are going to be in the offensive attack. They're trying to have a 2-2 split. 2 players go towards A, 2 players go towards ring. And this can come back to bite them if they eliminate all these players at the ship side and get pushed up towards Cliff.
Yeah, the farthest pushed up player right now for the Legion is going to be Decimate. So he'll be in the midst of a brawl at B. He'll actually be, well, somewhat successful in that before Nade unfortunately sends him across the other side of the map. But his distraction will at least provide a little bit of clearance now for the Legion, as John, sitting inside of Oil, is successful in taking down Vivid. So with that, the Legion will look to try to capture this A point. They're able to sniff out Skies, who was going for a flank. John continuing to be a problem here in the bottom side of the cages, just in this position alone. This is how great he was yesterday. Wonderful stuff from John, as he's now on 3 in a row, single-handedly allowing for 1/2 of the map to not be accessible from this Florida side. We are nearly halfway there at that A point, and now John sits on 4 in a row.
He's on fire. He was literally on fire earlier when he was stepping over a barrel, but he's not missing shots right now. First tick of aggression is going to be done. Second tick is on its way. But with John putting so much pressure in towards this green area, if you're Florida, you're just putting yourself in a situation where, like, hey, we got to hold ring. We're probably going to have to give this up and hold for a minute 30.
Oh, and player number 8, Owakening. How is he not? How does nobody know that John's here? How does nobody know that John is still here? He's not left. Thank you, Owakening. Oh, my goodness. John was hanging out inside of the cages, and now with the recent spawn that we get for Paris, that puts them in an awkward spot. What could be what turns the tide of this round, that Legion spawn, they're going to have to get somebody on to B, as they are up in terms of lives. They have got to get to this point. Farthest pushed up player is going to be John, as he gets met with a nice double there from Vivid. Player number 3 will get there at just the nick of time. Cannot allow for a contest, cannot allow for this point to go vacant. Temp, the only man up, as John will look to join alongside of him. They contest for the perfect amount of time. It got a little dicey there toward the end, despite the spree that we see from John. The Mutineers clutch up here on D.
Yes, the entire time that John was pushed up in green, you saw Florida. They just could not break out of that setup. But once they took care of John, they were able to clean the entire map, get a clean 4 dead, and then get pushed up with about 30 seconds left. If you're Paris Legion, you have to make sure that you're securing that A point, especially if John is just controlling green the way that he was. Once they lost that, with about 30 seconds left, you just have to shut down one push for Florida. They did that. They win the round. Now they're going into the offensive attack.
Now you're going to be somewhat frustrated if you're John, right? You're looking like, guys, I am literally...
He also teammated too during that 4 piece. It was unfortunate.
It's true. It is true. Okay, I'll give him that. But at the very least, you're a little bit frustrated. You're like, guys, I'm pretty much doing all of the work here in grid. We got to do something. But got to toss that aside. That's how I would communicate if I was in a game, which is the reason why, one of the many reasons why I never competed. Anyway, Mutineers off to a solid start in terms of positioning. They've yet to finally get on that A objective point, as Owakening decided to dip his toes into that. John making quick work of him. Of course, it's John. Stay Patty gets silenced as well. Legion able to clear the Mutineers off a boat for the time. That's a good sign, considering how that opening attack went for them.
Yeah, and this is great work from Paris because even though they lost that first offensive attack, they still were able to win the round in kills, I'm pretty sure, by 3. So now on defense, it all depends on how much you can put them in this setup, as Vivid is able to sneak his way through the B. And if I'm Vivid, you're just stopping this clock right now. You're going to force a couple players from Paris Legion to play off the rotation, which should allow your teammates to eventually get on that A point. Whew.
Shots from Vivid, unfortunately, not able to take down Temp in that engagement. But as we said, the one player who ends up going toward B always frees up his teammates over toward that boat side. Making the sacrifice is Vivid, and it looks to be working out quite nicely. One problem could be the one man on your screen. 27 seconds, and John, hot on the flank. Silences Dave Patty for the first, and the Mutineers pushed up inside of green. John, really the only player with an arm's distance of trying to challenge this. He'll get picked off, and again, the Legion playing off of each other, trying to utilize that teamwork, the map positioning the best way that they can. That 1v1 very well could do it. John may give it the one more college try. Not going to be the case. He'll go ahead and still cause some problems inside a boat, but it's the Mutineers who add another minute of time on toward the clock. 1:10. They've got a little bit of progress at B to work with.
Yeah, so right now it's all about taking control of this ship side or taking control of green. As you see Dave Patty working his way through the middle map, almost hits great shots onto John, but this eventually allows Vivid to be the playmaker, to sneak his way through the back. Decimate's gonna read it. His position is gonna get called out as Paris do find 2 in the feed. He gets traded now with 45 seconds left. Paris Legion, they just have to hold for one good push, and this round should be theirs.
Yeah, it looks solid right now for Paris. As you called it, John, having a great start. Through 1.5 rounds, sits at 14-8 as Owakening gets picked apart toward the top side of the boat. He was looking for that positioning in top 3. Not able to grant it. The Skies, all he can do is really just find some hit markers. And Dave, a great flank, but he's not really going to have anybody there for the pinch, but he can just do it himself. Okay, Dave, not a problem at all. A 1 versus 3 in terms of all these 1v1s, and he's taken everybody down, stopping the clock at 21 seconds. But the question remains, can the Mutineers join alongside their rookie? Can they get to this guy? He gets taken down by a nade. With 18 seconds left, we're tied in lives. Can the Mutineers make anything of Dave's heroics? And it looks as if that's not going to be the case. These guys may give it one more push, and he should be good to at least slide into this if he's interested. And they will be. The whole roster's here. The whole gang is partying up here at the beach. Vivid coming around the corner. He gets dropped, and there we have it. Paris got a little bit close toward the end. It started to inch its way out. Mutineers felt like they could eventually capture that point at the beach side, but never got the timing, never got the teamwork.
Paris Legion, they're just so aware on this map. Like, when we saw Vivid make his way through the back, they know once that first player that's coming off spawn, once he spawns, you're going to be able to give all the information that your team needs to do. So once that player in Felony just came off spawn, they turn on and they pick up Vivid. They were just continuously filling the gaps. And also John, 17-10. He was being such a nuisance, always getting behind the players on the side of Florida. Need to have that same exact aggression going into this offensive round and definitely complete this 8 point.
Yeah, we'll see what the Legion can do. When we talk about Kuavo, it's all about who can get that attack. Can it be Legion? Let's at least see how the comm sound is. They'll look to grab the first attack here on this control. Let's step aside and go to a listen now with the Legion.
One shot, Dave, one shot. There's. Red, first guy.
I hear you.
Alright, I'm trying to get mid. He's P5, one shot. You can shot him. Yo, ring stairs on me. Dead. Oh no. Ring stairs dead. Alright, I'll go. Top red, one shot, please. Top green break, you went to the hole. You went to the right. Look at pinch beach. I'm pushing up. Hey, top boat. Vivid. He's in the middle of you. See him, Tyler, you see him? I know. He's Vivid our side, top boat. One shot, low cliff. Anyone help? I'm looking at him. Dead. Top boat. One's there deep mid. Backstairs. Oh, one's there deep mid. I haven't looked at his backstairs. I'm looking your right. Blow their hole. I'm looking your top boat. Mid tank. I got the guy tank. That was mid door. Another one jumped out. I'm coming cliff to help you. One was mid door. Mid tank. Mid door dead. We're good. Slow down. It was Caesar. I'm gonna stop clock. Yeah, he's stopping clock, B. Need kills. Can't stop clock yet. Working your mid in the hole. Yo, we got time.
Some solid comms there out of the Paris boys. They've only got 10 seconds left. The comms are great, but really it's going to come down to the objective side of things. Your comms can be solid, but unless you're doing something in regards to the objective, it's never going to work out nicely for you. 7.8 still on the clock. Fellow doing everything he can to try and stay alive. The automaton up close. So we'll say goodnight to him. Decimate also will drop as well with the final few seconds on the clock. Nobody is going to be in position to halt the time, and the Mutineers back and forth we go. Defensive wins left and right, and the Mutineers off of that will go up 2-1.
They're just continuously sending bodies at this ship side. They're not trying to give up this 8-point every single time. And so far, Paris Legion have yet to capture either segment completely. So far, Florida are putting a lot of pressure on the map. Dave, Patty, Vivid, Owakening, all just stepping up with their aggression in their roles, making sure that they're just continuously getting those guys off that 8-point. And I'm pretty sure they were able to win that round by 3 kills. If I'm correct and my math is right, Paris Legion is still leading by 1 in the kill department. So if it does go to that round number 5, as long as Florida are able to outslay on this offense, they should be able to get the defensive side.
Yeah, that's a great call, partner. Like I said, you just want to see a solid round out of the Mutineers.
Start.
It doesn't have to be a win, but yeah, all right. Not the way that we thought it would go. Okay, Awakening gets dropped. That'll be 3 down in the feed, and Dave getting ultra comfortable for the moment, but Decimate there to cut him on down. So the Mutineers already stuck in a very precarious situation. It is 7-1 already here in this round number 4. Decimate, as long as he hangs back here behind the tank, I mean, the Mutineers, this is just what we talk about, Jay. If you don't win a few of these opening engagements, a teammate, and already things can get scary. Decimate up close, takes down 2, now sits on 4 in a row. And the Mutineers becoming a victim of Gavutu. If we're talking about lives for that round number 5, Paris look to have solidified it already. How about Temp now? Decimate and Temp both on a 5-3. Could there be streaks? Skies at least is able to silence Temp, but Decimate, that will be the question. Really the only thing, the talking point for this round is if Legion can get some streaks. They will not. The Mutineers, for their first time, will see the objective over at A, and we'll see what they can do as the clock stops at 2.
They just have to try to get it. It's already decided that Paris Legion are going to have the defensive side if they do go to that round number 5. But Paris Legion able to get 3 dead. I mean, it's Florida able to get 3 dead. Get on this 8-point. First segment is going to be complete. And if you're Paris up by 7 lives, you're not really worried about stopping it at this point. You're playing for the setup. And they had the same exact thing happen when they were going up against Atlanta. They put them in that same exact trap. And now you're allowing all your players on your team to get pushed up through that beach side, which is only going to allow Florida to continuously spawn at Cliff.
The right call made from Legion. He said, don't want to throw lives at this. And a great 2-piece from John just further cements the live advantage that the Legion have got, up 21-12. On a map like Gavutu, a lot of opportunities where you can take advantage of the setup. Not only is John in the position that he is, but he's also got his good old buddy Temp, who happens to be in the backside of the flank trying to maneuver, change up a few of these spawns. Some great work coming in from the team as Dave will finally be successful in clearing out P1, but you can just see from the Mutineers end, a lot of work, a lot of things that have to get accomplished. They do get a few down, so we'll see what they can do off of it. 18 seconds on the clock. They will pause it there. And now it's all on to the Legion retake. We'll see what they've got as Skies now enters toward 5 in a row for him. Streaks, we continue to talk about it, could be in his future as well. Has to get on the objective. And will survive for the moment. Awakening, a major 1v1 for him versus John. John's able to take it, but Skies at least is able to earn a streak for his efforts. Paris jump on, they look for the contest, and they will be successful in claiming that up 11-4. The Mutineers will have to back up, and we've got ourselves a round 5.
Round 5, Paris Legion are going to be in the defensive side. Right there, once Paris puts you in that trap right off the rip, they go up by 10 lives, and you have about 45 seconds to work with to try to push that towards that 8-point. They're up by 7 lives, 21-14. They say, hey, we already secured our defense for that round number 5. We can just give up that 8-point. Let's just properly set up around this B so we do not lose this. And that was just beautifully executed by Paris. They did the same thing versus Atlanta yesterday. They dominated in the slaying department, which is going to allow them to have this defensive side on this round number 5, which you usually see a lot of success on.
I want to ask you, Jay, like I said, we've seen all about defense so far. Mutineers now being on the attack. How do you want to see them change up what has been a very, very defensive-heavy game between these two?
It all depends on the start off. Like, you have to win a couple of these engagements off the rip, because if you go 3 dead, you're basically in the trap already. But Dave Patty opened up that first blood. Now you're going to have multiple players already at this ship area. And this is so far just, it's all about the start off. And so far, they're answering the call right here. At least open it up with a couple kills.
It is a 2-for-2 trade, but As John stays here, a huge 1v1 there, gets the headshot versus Skies. Is John about to do this for 2? Is he about to go for the double? Vivid has to escape, and he'll manage to do so. John, terrifying inside of the boat. Might as well call him the captain. Great work so far from John, as he'll now set up for Fellow. He gets dropped. And finally, the Mutineers, a sigh of relief, a sweat off the brow situation, as now they have got some time that they can soak up that objective. 1 tick through now at A.
You have a couple players who are working towards some streaks. You have Skies, who has that strafing run in his back pocket. Vivid's also winning 2 huge engagements at this B point. So now TJHaly, they're setting up to capture both of these. The second segment is about to come in at this A point. Trades going back and forth, but still, they have presence on both of these sites. If you're Paris Legion, you have to completely chalk A. You have to put all your focus on B. That's exactly what they're going to do, as Viv is going to be the last player here once it gets taken down. Even though they're going to lose A, it's time to put that setup on, push out towards ring, and continuously spawn them back cliff.
Oh, John hops right in. He says, why not? Let's try for it. He gets taken down, but you got to respect the effort at the very least. John, a little bit of a heat check, as he's near and ever closer to 30 kills. The highest total right now in the lobby is Temp. Trying to distract the Mutineers, gets caught out in the back of the base. So minute 30, up 4 lives. The Mutineers, one of the better attacking positions that we've seen, but right as we give them props, they go 3 down.
Yeah, now TJHaly's the last player up. He's going to drop, and just look at the spawns coming in from Florida. Fellow is going to already be in this position. Could cause some problems. It's not for Florida. It's all about finding that opening kill. They find 1, they find 2. Great plays coming in from Skies to hit the rotation on the way back from that ship shot to open up this push.
That's going to be frustrating if you're Dave, right? You see those 2 down, you're starting to push up toward beachside, and that's right where Decimate wants you to go. Skies runs right through an explosion, didn't look at it, but he at least calls out the strafing run. That streak will be big, and how about these kills? They're continuing to add on up. The streak could work out perfectly. It's at least causing somewhat of a distraction, and now Skies takes down 1 on the Temp. A few of the players begin to follow. John and Temp have gone big, but Skies staying alive in the back of the base, doing everything he can to look out for his rookie, who's going for the objective. Dave wins a fight versus Fellow, and now here comes the time. Stopped at 36, but could it be John to make all of the difference as he takes down 2, 8 versus 12? The Legion have got to be conservative, but they've also got to be careful. Skies is still picking players apart. Tim gets taken down by his own efforts. And with Decimate now for the challenge, only 1 more tick. Skies is staying up, as that'll be 7 in a row for Caesar, and he will put them to bed. Skies, a life to remember, a moment to remember, a highlight final moment. And he will be the difference maker on what gives the Mutineers their first control victory. And it's here on Gavutu versus the team that had yet to drop it.
That's insane work from Florida, more specifically Skies. He was able to work his way through the backside, finds 1, finds 2, and then eventually finds a 3rd. They get a clean 4 dead, which eventually allows Vivid to get on that point. But then John finds 2 top rank. It's a 2v4 on this point. Skies and Vivid just went tremendous to close out that game right there. Unfortunately, Temp kills himself with his own barrel, so he's not going to be in the gunfight. But Skies just made the play to close out the game. Florida now up 2-1. Unbelievable work out of him.
I mean, just tremendous effort from Skies. Finishes off 29 and 18. I'm sure we'll be looking at that one again. I mean, overall in the lobby, right? Who leads it? It's John, 34 and 28. This continues to be his map, but even a performance like that was not enough for the Legion to extend their Gavutu control record to 3-0. A Game 5 win here for the Mutineers. As we said, it had been 4 defensive rounds straight. Jay, I asked you rather, what was going to have to be the difference maker? You talked about the opening break. It looked good, but specifically, it gets dicey toward the stretch. What did you see here? What impressed you the most from Skies?
It's just his maneuvering to get his way to the back of the spawn. Like, he knows that even though 2 of his teammates drop right here, once he finds his first kill, it's all about slaying. He finds a second, and then you see number 7 slowly approaching that point, which was eventually TJHaly. Now, John finds his 2-piece. There's only 2 players left on this point. But they somehow, someway finesse their way. When Temp kills himself with a barrel, Skies finds another kill. Now in the 2v2, you make these players slow down. But the biggest kill had to be taking down John. on this top ring as he was still slaying, but just this is unbelievable work from Skies. On the point, the guy makes the play to win the game. Finds himself on a 7 spree, doesn't even need the kill streaks to close out the game. He just went absolutely bonkers to close that out. Now Mutineers up 2-1. Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Man. Unbelievable.
He took the words right out of my mouth, partner. I mean, what? We literally saw a highlight. It was like a 4-minute highlight. I mean, Skies was live the entirety of the round. He got a great tour of Gavutu from the boat to the back of the basin jungle, then toward the beach. Unbelievable plays as he and Dave somehow, some way outlast the Legion and now promote themselves and do the advantage into the lead. My goodness, up 2-1. These maps have all been close. I mean, the Bocage 50-point game. We go into the search and destroy. Round 11, Skies gets redemption from the 1v1 loss that he suffers versus John. He goes big and gets the game 5 here for, or rather the round 5 for the Mutineers as they go up 2-1. Jay, I mean, what, man? What? Give us the definition. What has been this series so far? I don't even know what to say anymore.
It's been back and forth between both of these teams, but Florida, they just came to play today. That first map, Vivids and Skies, they were running the show. And then Paris Legion, they were able to respond and get their search and destroy. Very first one of the entire year, even though it was a 6-5, wasn't clean, they still got the job done. But then going into that control, Vivid, I'm pretty sure he was sitting at double negative. But Skies, he makes the plays to win the game. They got outslayed tremendously on that last map, and that's what Paris are known for. Going into a Gavutu, you want them to always be on the defensive side. They usually do not lose rounds like that. But the fact that Skies was the playmaker to go right to the back of their spawn, time the kills perfectly, and then even clutch up a 2v4 while his teammates are spawning all the way across the map, you got to tip it to this guy. He's having himself one hell of a series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take a look at these numbers, 80 and 60 post that control that we just witnessed. A 1.33 KD as we're through 3 maps, and also 69% in that non-traded kill percentage. Just an unbelievable performance from the face of the franchise, the man who was invested in his game and then some. Skies, his 3rd year with the Mutineers. There's a reason why they rely on him so much. And again, Jay, there was a lot of talk, right, coming into the season. Skies being in that flex role, how is he really going to play? How is this team going to mix with all of these change-ups? And at the very least, man, Skies has been unbelievable. Puts up some great numbers on Bocage, solid in the search and destroy, but ultimately has his shining moment in the control, and very well could be the difference maker in this upcoming Tuscan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Tuscan between both of these teams. We saw Paris play it yesterday versus Atlanta. Wasn't really close. They lost by 100 points, but a majority of that came down to certain gunfights and rotations. If you're Paris, you have to make sure that you're beating Florida there and winning these gunfights, because we saw Vivid, he had a slow game on that last map of Gavutu, but map 1 he had 46. I'm looking at him to have the strong answer here as well.
Oh, and we'll see the nice pre-nades off the rip for the Mutineers. Grants them the control. And on the non-favorable side, except P1 on Tuscan, not a common one by any means, as it'll go 3 unanswered off the start for the Mutineers. Like we said, Legion with preferred spawns, you can get to P1 first. Doesn't appear to be that way. Looking at how the Mutineers have started off this game, 20 unanswered points, but finally, it's time for John to make somewhat of a dent. Owakening challenging to try to make things somewhat dicey inside of that middle alley. But great teamwork through our first through our first hard point, our first few moments of P1. The Mutineers have been perfect. The Legion begin to break on in, but Mutineers, they'll back on up and prepare for Column.
Yeah, you're not too worried about that if you're Florida. The fact that you spawn on the bad side and were able to get a good 25 seconds off this P1, now it's all about just holding these kills off the rotation. Vivid finds 2, Skies finds the 3rd. But look, number 2, he's actually going to be able to spawn in the back, so I don't know if the Florida players are going to be ready for this, as John is in a great position to cause some problems.
Oh, they are not ready for this whatsoever. Vivid ran right past them, not a care in the world. Don hanging out on the tank, reveals his position, and Dave is definitely aware of it. He'll look to bait out some shots and maybe set up player number 8 to go big. Awakening turns on to Decimate, and now it's John's turn to pick up from where his teammate left off. The Legion firing heavy in toward the middle as John continues to make his way around the back, but Awakening and Dave Patty taking out the Legion. John doing everything he can to try and set up a pinch, but he's got nobody to work alongside with. The Mutineers eventually take him down, and they will continue to accrue some time. The final 10 seconds will belong to the Legion, but once more, Jay, it is the Mutineers off the rotation and with the spawns for next.
Yeah, even with John spawning in the back right there, Florida, they did such a great job of just applying pressure towards the front, winning a majority of those gunfights to not allow Paris to get any time off of that P2, and they were in the rotations to the money hill in P3. So now if you're Paris Legion, this is where the game can get away for you. You gotta try to break this hard point, because if you allow Florida to go up by 80 to 90 points off the rip, not even through the first rotation of hard points, they can start to get out of hand.
Yeah, think of this hill basically like the twin brother of Berlin P3, right? I mean, it literally works the exact same way. Some sticky spawns. It's not going to be easy to break this bad boy. His Decimate will learn that the hard way. Sky's picking up from where he left off. Now sits at 8 and 5. The Legion look to try and rally, but with 20 seconds left, they're thinking, hey, we might have to go for the rotation. The problem for them is DayPatty is thinking the exact same thing.
Right now, Florida just a step ahead. They're winning these rotation gunfights. DayPatty is aware of everything on the map. They're trying to, as they were able to get a full 60 on that P3, that's got to be frustrating for Paris Legion. You just have to put yourself in a better position. When you're always playing from the back foot, not rotating, it's going to cost you. And so far, they do have the rotation towards this P4, so they need a great hold here to try to get back into this one. But DayPatty through the back trying to cause some havoc.
Some great work, unfortunately, doesn't check his right. Owakening is at least able to trade it on out, but you can see the Legion very aggressive. Both players hop outside of the hill. They're looking to try to find that. And how about Owakening taking down 2? That was 3 in a row. In the exact same bit of positioning, the Mutineers now with control inside of church. Everything's getting dicey. Decimate gets picked apart in the back. But overall, in terms of that score, the Mutineers only continue to see success as they'll reach 120. Legion have yet to even see that 40-point mark. Some great plays being made from the Mutineers, but with 10 seconds left, it will be the rotation at P5. They have been there first nearly every single time. But we'll see what the Legion can do, as they'll have to really gear up for this next hard point at Command Center. Let's step aside and go through a listing now with Paris.
Run away from nice, good shit, Joe. I need blood. One got it here, yeah. No, fuck my bad. Okay. Just keep flying. No, bottom up. I hear you. I have mid pinch. I got you. Bottom up. JT, watch out. Fight him. The right corner on the stairs. Bottom stairs. Right corner. Yeah, right there. He's pinching. Pick it up. Right here. Go back on our side. I have the pistol. I send this side. I got it now. I'm closing the door. Yo, they're door right now. They're door weak. I'm waiting. Both one shot. One's in the door, one's on the stairs. Yeah, two bottom stairs. I'm gonna pressure this game.
Mid tap. He's going. I'm swinging you.
Yeah, got me. I got the dude, son.
I'm swinging you.
That's the only guy in there. Nice. One shot. Stun him. You went their side.
I'm going to fight you. I'm not streak.
Yeah, okay. I'm watching over your mid right now.
I'm gonna play flyer side then for a streak. I'm gonna streak. No, stay up.
I am.
Oh, it's going well. It's going well.
Alright, here, you have a mid.
Hold on. I can streak.
Mid, down, he's dead.
We don't have to.
I've already mid. Mid, alley, John. Go, find their side. I have all your mid. I'll B2. I need him their side as well. I'm looking at mid. To their side. I'm throwing it in for you. No, mid, he's flooded at me. Mid, Donnie, late. You went mid truck to you. Nice, hold mid.
B2.
I'm needing him.
B2.
There's 2B2. You saw them. Absolutely nice. Good shit, guys.
Can you help?
Hold my mid.
I got it. Up.
You go there so you can hold the cross. Joe.
Actually,
I can pick up. I'm one shot.
Let's go.
Yo, cross blue. One shot, John. After he could go well on me.
Apologies called for the Legion, and it just seems they weren't actually saying a single word, because it doesn't appear that they're doing much in regards to the score category. The Mutineers are running away with this game. Jay, obviously we got to listen in to their communication. They just seem like they are in a flow, up 200 to 69. 200 to 69. This is a phenomenal start from Florida. This looks to be over already.
Yeah, those comms sounded like they were ready for war. Florida are not messing around today. They said, hey, that loss versus London is not us. 200 to 69. This has been an absolute slappage onto the Paris Legion. Every time Paris are rotating, doesn't matter. They only get 10 seconds on every hard point before Florida are able to break in. 206 to 69. Florida have the spawns for now, but with 30 seconds left, if you're Paris, you have to try to get this. But that money hill for P3, that has to be in your bag if you want to get back into this game.
Yeah, we'll see what Legion can try and come up with. They got a little bit scary there. This fellow had something to say about That challenge from Vivid. Meanwhile, John not having the greatest of games. A major slowdown there from that Kuavo. They'll have the final 13 seconds. And off of spawn, it was Fellow winning a huge fight in that 1v1 versus Owakening. And he'll also take down the second. So they get some time at column, and now they're prepared for fire. A much different story than the first set of rotations. It felt like they were losing every single hill, but now they're prepared and they're set up for one of the biggest in this game here in Vanguard. It's gonna have to be a full 60, my friend.
This is good work. At least good pressure coming in from Florida right up the middle of the map. You're gonna have a couple players that are just gonna work their way through P5. Awakening gonna use his streak. Unfortunately, it's gonna stick to the wall, so I don't know if it's gonna overextend to the backside. But they find 3 kills. They're able to flip the spawns, and with 30 seconds left, they're just getting closer to that game finisher.
Yeah, the fighter pilot looked at the score and he was like, I don't really need to do anything. You guys seem to have it pretty well under control. John dropped in from fire as the Legion will get some moments, at least to have some time inside of the hill as they'll walk away with a big 2 versus 2. And those final 10 seconds, while they may be scrappy, will belong to them. Nope, not at all. Sky's not going to give them even that much to work with as the rotation is in now here at Church, and it's going to take a prayer from Paris to make anything of this advantage, and they're all lining up. They're all lining up for Big Wake, as that'll be 4 in a row. Paris Legion feeling the pressure of a player of Big Wake's caliber, 25 points away from a victory here for the Mutineers. They can smell blood in the water. Legion, can they do anything? Can they really provide us with any sort of spree, as John doing the best he can to allow for Paris to get some seconds?
25 seconds remaining on this hill. They can still win it here if they can get on this time. The Paris Legion finding a couple of kills. That's going to be 3 in the feed. Last player here is going to be Skies. Once they take him down, they are going to be able to flip these spawns as well. So you do not want to allow Florida to break in for this chunk time, because when you're this close to the finish line, you're playing for every single second. Because you know Paris Legion, they have to win. They have to focus on winning the rotation gunfights. So just getting closer and closer to that mark. For Paris Legion, auto rotation towards P5.
Well, it's going to be perfect hard point. It's going to have to be from this point on. I know we say that every time, but it could not come at a more accurate time. Legion, everybody set up inside a command center. Temp trying to be prepared for a hit toward the back. And we know how this one likes to play out. Cook the nades, toss him in, and Decimate is going to get met with the nice nade there from Vivid. 2 more seconds. Legion have got to break on in. Is it going to come down to a clutch from Vivid? Despite the numbers, he will prevail, and the Mutineers will be successful. They turn around their performance after a huge loss versus the Ravens, and they get the job done here versus the Paris Legion. Their first win of the CDL 2022 season. A big dub for Florida as Paris once again sent home packing.
And that's a tremendous win for Florida, especially coming off of the loss that they took versus London. To come out and make a statement like this, to win 3 respawns versus a team like Paris, who were looking great in their respawns and not too good in their search and destroys. They came out and they made a statement today. Vivid and Skies really stepped up to a whole new level. Skies goes tremendous to win them that control. Vivid leads the pack with 46 kills on map number 1. And in this last map, like I said, it was a complete smoke show. Paris, they were trying to get back into the game towards the later half of it. But Florida, they were just in full control from start to finish. Every time Paris rotated, they were instant broke in the first 10 seconds. And Florida, they were so great on their holds. First rotation, they held down that P3 for the entire 60. That's what you need if your Florida Mutineers continue to go forward and get some success.
Yeah, man, as we'll take a look through the highlights, I mean, it's really all going to be about the Mutineers. I mean, they will look back at this tape and really make themselves quite happy. A solid performance, like you said, based off the rotations. But talk to me, man, just in general, level with me a little bit. Mutineers coming into this series, a lot of people were down on them, right? They were saying, hey, Legion, they look top versus Atlanta. Not much confidence in the Mutineers to come away with this game. Seeing the performances that we did from Sky, seeing the performances that we saw from Awakening, from Dave, from Vivid, his turnaround and the opening hard point, how much hope does that give you in this Florida team moving forward?
It gives me a lot of hope, but it's basically like the exact same Florida roster that we saw last year. It's either they're flying or they're dying. So if they lose that first map, it's usually the momentum setter for them. But when they come out and slay, that usually is the key to success for them to go out throughout the rest of this series. Right here, like I said, good bounce back. To come out and win that first hard point, 250 to 200, then to have such a close search and destroy. It could have honestly went either way. Came down to a 1v1 in the final seconds, but to have the ice in your veins from Skies to clutch it up in that control, because that was the deciding factor. That was Paris's bread and butter, but unfortunately they lose that, and then eventually the momentum swings in favor of Florida.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Some big games for the Mutineers. We're going to bring back in the desk, who, you know, there were some folks on the desk who were thinking Paris was going to walk away with this, but Skies says no. What'd you make of that one, Veli?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game after all. And off the back of big Wake, 32 kills to close out the series. That was actually beautiful. But thank you guys so much for the beautiful commentary. aLLeY, you were also telling me in the back room that this loss that Florida had to kick off the opening weekend, we shouldn't really judge them too hard, especially from what we just saw.
Yeah, no, I think this attests to how good London Royal Ravens actually is. I don't think this is about how bad Florida was compared to what we saw from Kickoff Classic. I think this is a testament to London is the real deal, and like Zero said, they're trying to be a top 4 team by the end of the year. So for me right now, I think it's London Royal Ravens kind of T6, Florida a bit T8, Paris is still in my T12. I'm sorry, they've had some shining lights of hope, but again, they lost to Florida, which Nameless tried to say was his number 12 now.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? They just seem to be so inconsistent. They're hot and cold. Today, they looked a lot better. I mean, we saw a big turnaround from Dave on that first map, Awakening map 4. That's what we're used to seeing out of him, and it was so nice to see Skies with the AR and the control popping off, because that's his bread and butter with that weapon, is when he's going on those streaks. And the teamwork and the communication was there. That was something I was looking at for Florida. Last year, the communication would fall off at times. Well, when Skies was up and behind him, the gunfights were being prolonged in green, and that boat allowing him to work it and get those kills and go on that streak. That doesn't happen without great comms and teammates playing their life. So clearly things were working well for Florida today. I just hope they can keep it up going forward and stay consistent.
And one thing that I'm really excited about right now is because the Game Fuel post-victory spotlight interview, we actually have Vivid on the line. And Vivid, man, that was such a big win. Look, you're looking good, you're leaning back, you're relaxing. First things first, how you doing? And second off, it seems like you guys really rode the momentum off of that control win, especially with Skies going crazy. Be honest with me. What were the vibes like? What was the conversation like behind the scenes going into that last map?
Yeah, the vibes were high. We knew that map 3 definitely took a lot out of them. Like they could have won that, so we knew we stole momentum there and just rode it into map 4. We knew that we needed to close it out there, not let them get any momentum back.
Awesome. And now I gotta ask, what is the dynamic between you and Big Wake like? Do you think you found your pace as a sub duo yet, or are you still working on it?
I mean, we're always gonna be working on it because you can always get better. But I think since I've joined the team, that me and him have kind of meshed well. He kind of is more lurking, and I'm obviously a pretty fast player. So I just think we're always on the same page for most of the scenarios we get into.
All right, Reese, first off, congrats on the win. You're playing well. You look fantastic out there. But I got to ask you, what do you attribute the difference in gameplay today? Why did you guys look so much better than versus London?
The London match, we came out kind of flat. It didn't really feel like a match intensity, and we noticed that right away. And we came in today saying bring more, we need to bring more energy, lock in more before the match, and we definitely had more energy. The comms were better. Everything was, it was a different team.
Yeah, Vivid, you know what, man? That was a big win for you guys. So I'm going to leave the floor to you to talk to the fans out there. Let us know what to expect in the future when it comes to the Florida Mutineers.
In the future, definitely not expecting the same performance out of us on London. More of this series. We're looking to keep showing out for you guys and keep improving.
Vivid, if you can get more than 80 interactions on Bocage again, I'll personally give you $1,000. That was one of the most insane performances I've seen. Congrats, man. I want to see you drop more than 80 interactions the next time you guys play that. That was wild, man. Congrats.
I'm going to have to hold you to that.
All right, go ahead.
Vivid, if it happens, let me hold 20, man. Thank you so much. Hope you have a beautiful day. Finish out your weekend strong, and we'll catch you next time, all right? You take it easy.
Have a good one.
No problem. aLLeY, once again, you have killed it when it comes to these predictions. I don't know how you write all the damn time. It's kind of annoying, but I love to see it. So to pretty much put a bow on top of this whole match, I mean, how are you feeling about this and also heading into the Atlanta FaZe versus 100 Thieves game?
I'm excited. That match was a bit closer than I feel like I personally expected. Going up to a game 4 with Paris and John starting so slow. In that first hard point, I believe Plehold, he was 18 and 31 at some point. He did pick it up. I'll give him that. He picked it up in the search and destroy with those nasty snipes on Tuscan, but LA Thieves versus FaZe.
Let's go.
This is probably going to be the nuttiest match of the weekend.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for the first series of the day, and we are just getting started. If you like a little heavyweight battling, a battle of the Titans, you got it coming up next. We have the Atlanta FaZe facing off against the LA Thieves. I can't wait to watch Kenny and the boys face off against Simp and that all-star squad. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break for some more CDL opening weekend action. See you soon.